topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
To Triversity Talk. I am Wendy Stewart, and I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. We are getting so close to Pride. We're so close, I can taste it. And June is Pride Month. So in honor of Pride Month, Triversity, our organization located in Milford, Pennsylvania, threw a really wonderful mix and mingle garden party this past weekend, and it was unbelievably well attended. I met a lot of new people, which was really great. And, you know, for all of us, it's about creating community and really servicing your community. So it was a chance to meet some new faces, reconnect with old faces, and just have a really, really great time over the Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're all planning your Pride events. There are so many Pride events. It's like Pride is everywhere this year, as it should be. And if you're in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania, you can just Google it. There's so many things happening in so many places. So make sure you put your Pride calendar together. So tonight's guest, I actually had met before and was so impressed by her. She is an amazing dancer, choreographer. I had heard about the incredible show that she has. Her company is called Stage Star Productions. She formed it in 2006. And I always say, Jamie, I don't understand. You look like you're 12. How could that have happened? But this is someone that is so passionate about what they do. And she's performed with so many major artists that you've heard of. And she produces these incredible dance extravaganzas. I'm especially excited because we're going to show a clip later on from one of her productions. So without further ado, please welcome Jamie Marie Hannigan.
Hi, Mandy. I wish I could hug you.
I know we can. Right, you came on If These Walls Could Talk, and you, myself, and Tim Moss were all getting cozy. We got to sit together.
Yeah.
But you know, since the pandemic, we have all different ways of doing things. So here we go tonight. We're all here on StreamYard. I was about to say Zoom. I sometimes confuse the two, but you know what? They're virtual. Yeah. And there's something to be said for virtual because, you know, you and I can connect tonight and everybody gets to hear about you and what you do. So welcome to Triversity Talk. You really, really impressed me, Jamie. I have to tell you why. The sheer amount of work that you produce. I don't know. You know, you're a mom. You have your own company, you teach dance, you do workshops. And with this all, you still have time to create safe spaces, service the LGBTQ community. The amount of charity work that you do is incredible. And where do all these creative juices come from?
I don't think I know any other way to be. I think this is just me deep down ingrained in my soul, and this is how I function otherwise.
Well, you know what, that's a great answer because this is how I function, and this is what you need to function to be who you are. Now, you know, when you were growing up, did you have a special ability for dance?
Yeah, so I started taking dance classes when I was young. I think I was about 7 or 8. My mom always jokes around and tells the story that my aunt was a kindergarten teacher, and she saw all the little girls in her class with these cute little pink jackets. They looked like the Pink Ladies jackets. And she would ask them, where did you get those jackets? And they said the name of the dance studio that they went to. So she was like, she said to my mom, we got to sign her up. They're so cute. So that's how it started.
Wow.
The jackets.
It all had to do with the you know what, you've heard say yes to the dress, say yes to the jacket. So that was your original inspiration. Did you show a particular ability for dance and choreography at that age?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. It was so long ago, but I do remember I was very teeny tiny growing up. So I was in the front a lot. I don't know if it was because I had a special ability or because I was small. But
no, but you know what, for
both.
dance and gymnastics, that's actually really, really great.
Yeah.
I think it helps. People I know that are dancers. Well, the song "Tiny Dancer," right?
Yes, that's my son's favorite. He loves.
Oh, you're kidding! Oh my God, that's great. That's so
when
cool.
he was a baby, that was the only song that would calm him down.
You have to admit, it's more than a coincidence, So you were the tiny dancer who was in the front row, and at what point did you become aware, even as a young person, that there were people out there hurting and needing, and that you could change their perspective on life?
So I was lucky. I grew up around a family who was the same, who kind of introduced me to charitable work and helping one another. Like I said, my aunt was a kindergarten teacher. I lived with my parents and my grandma. Both my grandmas were very into children's rights and very kind and caring and compassionate people. And I think I just grew up around those types of people.
Right.
And I went to, I don't have 100% positive or negative things to say about my Catholic school upbringing. But one of the very positive things about it was that a few of the teachers that I came across talked about giving back, helping our community. And I think it was just a part of me. And I think I remember hearing, I don't know if it was my aunt, I don't know if it was a teacher, but I remember hearing a lot when I was younger, use your talent to help others. And so I thought, well, what do I love to do? I love to dance. And then I'm going to use that. So.
Wow. Well, you love to dance. A lot of people do, but to take and to be able to share that, to bring people together, and now more than ever, creating safe spaces, creating entertainment, not only having people that you teach dance to, you change their lives, but the people that come and see your shows. I was first made aware of your show through Chauncey Dandridge, the audiologist and producer, over at Stonewall. He said to me, "Oh my God, are you familiar with Jamie and what she's doing?" And I think I went on YouTube and saw something, and I'm like, "Oh, this is like, I don't know. How do you do that show at Stonewall? I mean, that's a tiny stage with no dressing room."
So no dressing room. So after performing there for an entire year, every month, I finally figured out that I took all of my costumes, folded them, got these reusable bags with hangers, with like a hook on the top, and put them in order on the one tiny little coat rack in the room.
Tiny little coat rack in that.
But it took me a year to figure it out, because there's like 5 of us, 6 of us, 12 of us in that room. Like,
I cannot believe you have fit 12 people. I was in that room with 6 people. All right, that is just the coolest.
Yeah. So, my group, the cast members in my show, they're really good at adapting on the fly. And we've been able to do this show at teeny tiny bars, clubs. And I mean, now we're doing it on huge theater stages and selling like 300 seats. And, so that's the cool thing about this show. We could do it anywhere.
Right. But it's also challenging, because you're constantly, you expand, you contract, you expand, you contract, and you have to change it up, right? Every time depending on the location that you're in. So when did you first put these kinds of extravaganzas together?
So I started my company in 2006, and originally it was basically a dance studio. But so I would teach classes during the day and on the weekends. And then, you know, at night we would rehearse for whatever show I decided we were going to do on the weekends that month. And then I decided after a while, about 9 years, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try. I love having my own venue space, but I'm going to try just kind of like traveling a little and renting out spaces and kind of having that experience as well. So this particular show that we're speaking about is the Velvet Stardust Rock Show. And it just came up on its 1 year anniversary a couple of months ago. Yeah. So, and I'm so proud of where it's come in a year. And how it started was I was talking to my friend who owns a venue in Garwood, New Jersey called Crossroads. It's a really cool place. They do all types of shows. They have national acts that come in there. And he, you know, I always used to call him and just say, hey, you have any open dates coming up? And he said, you know, I would be the one that he could say within 2 weeks, say, yeah, like I have this date in 2 weeks. What do you want to do? And I would figure out something spectacular and get it done in 2 weeks.
No,
So
I love it right there. I'd figure out something spectacular and then turn it out in 2 weeks. Because you can do it.
It's what we do. And so I said to him, I said, you know, Lee, I really just want to pull the trigger on this idea I've had in my brain for like 10 years. I want to do a rock and roll burlesque show, but not traditional burlesque in, you know, the sense of the word, but it's just, you know, a live band. We have some really incredible lead female vocalists, and I want, you know, dance choreography and then also the burlesque element. But we actually do the show with and without it, depending on the venue and you know, what they want. But and that's kind of how it came about. We booked this date in 2 weeks. I put out a call on Facebook for local carpenters, and I was like, I want to do Little Red Corvette, which is one of my favorite songs. And someone came and built me a huge, like almost life size, about half the size of a real car, Corvette, and we wheeled it into Crossroads, and I did Little Red Corvette, and the rest is history.
And that came from putting out an ad on Facebook.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I met the best guy. He lived right by my house. I had no idea he was there, and he ended up building the sets for my shows that we did after that.
That is really quite an amazing story. I'm just thinking to myself, like, I can't even find a handyman to help me when I'm in my house in Pennsylvania. You put something, I'm not kidding you, you put something up for something specific that you needed, and somebody answers it that lives so close to you. Darling, that is really great luck. That's all I can say. So you started doing this show that we're talking about a year ago.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we did it for a couple months, and Chauncey and I had reconnected, and he's like, I would love for you to come try this at Stonewall and see how it goes. And we've been doing it there for about a year, and we're just transitioning now to some, like I said, larger theater stages. We played the Mock Chunk Opera House in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. I don't know if everybody's familiar.
Is, of course.
Such a cool little town.
Yeah, it is. People go there. You know how I found it? Whitewater. Well, I don't know how white the water was, but it was freezing cold. And whitewater rafting. That's why people go to Jim Thorpe.
Yeah. So when we were there, it was actually cold and freezing.
Right, there you go.
We turned up the heat in the opera house, so we were good.
Do they have like a big old opera house there? Is it like that?
It's beautiful. It's really a gorgeous venue, and the staff is incredible. And we had a blast. Everyone was up and dancing, and it was just the best experience. So we're going to be back there actually September 9th.
Oh my gosh. So you have like a full schedule of shows, right?
I do. Not only the ones that I produce, but I go and I dance and perform in other people's shows that they produce as well. So there's a lot of that going on in the next couple of weeks also.
Wow. So you, I know, have done, you've been on stage with Alicia Keys.
That was cool. Yeah. And it was actually, it was for a concert called Teen People. So Teen People Magazine, What's Next concert. So, yeah, I got to perform with Alicia Keys, Ja Rule, Michelle Branch, all in the same night. Mandy Moore hosted it. So I got to meet everybody and be on stage with them. So, yeah.
So this happened, all of those performers were there that night.
They were, because it was so long ago that it was Teen People's picks for the next big stars. Yes.
Wow. That what a great experience for you. I'm sure you grew up in New Jersey, right?
I did, yes.
So I guess when you're in a situation like that, it's like, oh my God, look who I'm on stage with.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I grew up going to dance conventions and competitions and stuff in Manhattan a lot.
You did.
So yeah, so I loved it, and this was at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, that's one of my favorite venues.
Yeah, really cool.
You know, I love seeing concerts there and everything. So when you were growing up and doing like dance competitions and stuff like that, are the ones you did are similar to the ones that we see on television now? Like you think you can dance?
So I think things have transitioned a lot since I've been in that circuit. And what we see maybe on those shows and on TV now isn't quite it, but I guess it's the general idea. It would be just like a bunch of us shoved in a ballroom of a hotel, and you know, whatever teacher was there that we were lucky enough to take classes with that day would teach us all in a room, and they would hand out scholarships for the next competition. So you know, you get up, you do the dance, they cut out 20 dancers, you get up, you do it, they cut out 10, they cut out 5, and you hope to make it to the last few.
Of course. How did that make you feel if you were cut out? I should ask, were you cut out, Jamie, or you just always made it through?
So there was a time where I won a scholarship. I was one of the scholarship winners. You know, it took me a while. I'm a very sensitive soul, and it took me a long. I mean, I was little when I was doing those things. Like,
that's what I mean. It's tough. That's tough. Like on someone.
I had a rough time when I was little. There were a lot of tears. But as I got older, you know, especially being on this side of the table and producing, directing, choreographing, it's not personal. It's just what you're looking for. And, you know, having that experience being on the other side of it and really taught me a lot. And now, you know, I'm not offended by much at all.
No, we call that getting a tough skin.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah. Well, I want to show this is Velvet Stardust, the video that you gave us, right?
So this is, we are right now actually on last looks of a really beautiful promo video that's being done for this show. But our talk today is about a week short of it being done. So what you have is just a bunch of kind of fan clips that were shot that we spliced together, and a couple pictures at the end from the photographer that was there at the Mock Chunk Opera House, Ashley Turner of Bowie 2 Productions. So I just want to make sure I give her the cred, because it's not up there on the video.
Cool. All right. I'm excited to see the video. Juan, take it away. absolutely fabulous. I've got to see one of your shows. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The energy and the talent. I got to tell you, the hula hoop girl had me. That was
that's Anna Archaic. She is pretty
what,
cool. She sings too.
and she sings. How did she learn how to do hula hoops like that?
A lot of hard work. Like I've known her for a long time, and she's always been extremely talented, but I've seen it progress. She's fantastic. Yeah. She does a lot.
Do you realize to spin those hula hoops on all of your appendages like that, you've got to be able to walk and chew gum? I'm like, wow, she's doing a split it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. How do you find your dancers?
So a lot of these people I've known for a very, very long time, like 10, 12, 13 years. But we just recently put out an audition notice. And I see a lot of amazing talent. But it's always been hard for me to I'm just picky, as everyone should be. But I'm picky because it's a labor of love, and these are my friends, and they work really, really hard. So I'm just picky about who I bring up.
Also, this is your baby. There's a big difference between as a dancer, you going to work in someone else's production,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to this is your creation, and it really all rests on you, the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's not just about talent. There is a lot of talent out there, a lot of it. But it's about a collective energy, I think, with this show. And everybody is a really important piece. And I absolutely love the group that I have now. So knock on wood, crossing fingers, crossing toes, that everybody hangs around and is healthy and available. Because a lot of these performers are just, freelance performers. And
absolutely.
Get booked, and they're all very dedicated to this show, but things happen. So, and I hate to replace anyone or bring people on, so I'm just like, this is my crew.
Right, but it is. I was going to ask you about that, keeping your crew together, because I have a friend, the Hannigan Dance Company, their small dance company, and I know a challenge for her is she gets these dancers, she rehearses them, and then they get another gig, right? It's the nature of the beast, and it's the whole freelance thing.
And a lot of the people in my show have their own passion projects going on also at the same time. Mm-hmm. So that's a thing as well. But like I said, we've been doing this together for a year now. Everybody is very on board. So
I think that's great that you're able to keep it going and keep it together. How did the pandemic affect what you were doing?
So so at the time, right before the pandemic, I was still teaching dance to kids locally. And so when the pandemic hit, I had a very tiny child at home and was trying to teach virtually. And I was like, this is great and all, but I'm going to have to do something else to survive and get out of here. And oh my gosh. Because, I love teaching. I love kids. I always have. And you absolutely have to be on 100% when you're you have to be on 100% just to be in this industry in general. But when you're teaching and you're trying to put forth knowledge, but also keep the children engaged, you have to be a unicorn 24/7. Yep. But to teach during the pandemic online was like you had to be 10 unicorns at once at the same time, because the kids are like,
right. Like, how did you keep? For instance, so you probably taught on Zoom. How did you keep them all focused?
It was interesting. And they would all be up in their little square. Everybody was at home, and it became about, and I knew it would, but it became about the togetherness more than anything else. And yeah, I think that's, I can sit here confidently and say that I taught them things. But I think more importantly was that they saw their friends, they saw me. We had some form of a routine still established. Kids need that. I need that. We all need that. But kids especially, they need a routine and familiarity. And I think that was the key thing.
You know, Jamie, I know other people who teach that had these challenges, but I haven't heard one person say exactly what you just said, that it was really about seeing each other and having a sense of normalcy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it. I saw their little faces and they were just like, you know, there was a collective sigh of, these are my friends. This is my teacher. We're trying. We're all here together. And so many times, you know, I made it a point of leaving the last couple of minutes of class to talk and just hear what they were doing and what was going on at home and how they felt. You know, I made it a point of making that part of it. And I think that helped.
Right. Right. And it, you know what? It helped you too. It really helped you too, to be able to have that connection with them. So, tell me about some of the projects you've done for advocacy, because I know you do a lot of it.
Yeah. So, I'm actually working now. This is the first I'm talking about it out loud, but I'm actually working on something behind the scenes now, because I did a lot during the pandemic. I did a lot before that. When I had my own studio space, we did charity events constantly. That was just why I had it, and what I wanted to do was that I had that venue space. So now I can't do as much of it because there's the different things behind the scenes that go on, as far as like, you know, renting a space and costs and stuff like that. But I am working currently on something now. So I have 2 shows going on right now: the Velvet Stardust Rock Show and the Starlight Jazz Show, which is my other show that I produce that's out there and touring some dates right now. But there is a third thing I'm working on behind the scenes to kind of give back to the community. So I'm excited about that. And when it's a little more together, I will make sure you're one of the first.
You'll do the great reveal. You'll definitely have to let me know. But it's interesting. You're using like every kind of dance that you personally can do. And that's really something, you know. You do jazz. I'm sure you do rock. And you've probably done just about every niche for dance, I would think.
I have. And it's been really cool to try to fit all the different genres of dance into the Velvet Stardust Rock Show. So you just saw we have flow arts, which is what the hoops are and stuff like that. So we have a lot of you know, jazz, we have hip hop, we actually have some tap in the show. So, you know, I want to always make sure that no matter what I do, I'm doing something different. And what comes along with that, I was just telling someone today, I was trying to describe the show. And it sounds so cliche to be like, well, you have to see it. But you kind of have to see it because I've kind of accidentally placed us in a category of our own. So it's nice to know that you're doing something very different from things that are out there. But then it also brings along its challenges as far as marketing goes. So.
Right. Yeah. Marketing is a big consideration. And when I was watching, because I know everything that you do, does it ever become challenging for you? Because you still teach kids, right?
Not right now. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm momming it and showing it. So
you're momming it and showing it. I love that. You need to have t-shirts made that say that. But is anyone, you know, knowing that you use burlesque, and has anyone ever approached you in a negative way about using burlesque in dance?
Oh, sure.
That's interesting, because I'm like immersed in New York City 3/4 of the time, and burlesque is very hot here, and it's just become just a normal thing here. And even if you travel to places like New Orleans, so that's surprising to me that there would be a negative connotation. It's an incredible art form.
It is an incredible art form, and it's extremely powerful and liberating. And we've had people come up to us after the show, you know, who were like, oh my God, that was just so empowering. And look at you. And you guys were just like, this is amazing. Ah. So there's definitely both sides of it. But I think, the thing that I get on the other side is I had some people say, what will your son think? I'm like, well, right now he's 4. He thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world. So let me live that. Let me have that. And,
right.
It's an art form. I mean, there's nothing in this show that has ever made anyone, leave like, ugh. Everybody's just happy and having a great
Because
time.
it's incredible art. All right. It's extremely entertaining. The detail that you have paid to costuming. It's about, presentation. And again, I never saw hula hoops used in that way. So you had me at the hula hoops. That's like, whoa, I could never figure out how to spin those hula hoops like that. And I used to love hula hooping, but it's such you send out a positive message.
Absolutely.
But I mean, we all are hearing now, my God, I put up this thing on Facebook and on Instagram that was taken at an event I was at. I was in front of a stage with the big American flag behind me, dressed amazingly. And the quote I put under it was, "Vote for me for president. I promise to bring back Drag Story Hour."
Yeah.
Right. But I put it on my Facebook page and on my Instagram, and I've gotten so many hits on it because, because you know what? It's like we're moms, and what's going on right now in the country is really unacceptable to us. And we're artists, so it's up to us to speak out. I will just say that.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think we are unfortunately very focused on the wrong things right now in this country. Right. And some people have it all backwards. And
right.
We're focused on these wonderful human beings who are out there bringing positivity, love, and just overall happiness to children, and teaching them and reading them stories, which we don't have enough of right now going on at all. Everybody's glued to their phones. These kids know nothing but YouTube. And it's like, that is so important. And
well, that is a really
forgetting
good
that.
Right. That's a really good point, because Drag Story Hour in its own way is really live theater. And it's entertaining for kids that age. And they should be able to have that. There shouldn't be a negative connotation against it. I'm all for using performance and performance arts to teach and to create a better society.
Absolutely. I think that a huge part of why a lot of us do it is because it gives us a platform to talk about what we believe in, and it gives us a platform to speak out and help those who maybe don't have that platform.
Right. Right. Have you found, like, I don't know if you've exclusively worked with kids that are LGBTQ, but have you ever used your platform to open up kids' minds like that?
So I know from having the dance studio back in the day, I kept in touch with a lot of my former students, and there were so many times where, I could tell some of these kids, they would walk in, I would see their face. Maybe they didn't have the best day at school. Maybe they didn't have the best home life. But when they were there, they got to be themselves 100%. They didn't want to go home. So there were so many kids who, Miss Jamie, can we stay? Miss Jamie, do we have to leave? And I would end up ordering everybody pizza, and they would just hang out. And it was the same with the adults too. If you create that safe space for people, I think it's your job to kind of be the safe space mom at the dance studio.
No, so I hear you. That's exactly who you are. It's interesting because our organization, Triversity, when we first formed 11, maybe 12 years ago, it was really for the kids. Everything. We used to have something called Pizza Patty. It was called the 3 Ps and something else. And it's very much like what you described, where kids that were in junior high or even high school really needed to be in a place where they weren't being bullied and where they could be with other kids on an even keel, you know, in a positive environment. And you're right, get them away from the TV, get them off of their video games, get them off of the phones and stuff like that. What is happening in our organization now that's very interesting to me, we have so many incredible, strong women that are moms, and they have just come on board. I even got to meet some of them with their kids. They came, we just had our meet and greet, or mixer as they called it. It was really, really inspiring. They came with their kids. You know, we created safe space and we're creating community. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you're doing. And it's, I feel now more than ever, you know, this is something that we needed to be doing right along. But now every day that goes by, and I read like another thing that like, oh my God, we're going back into the dark ages. It makes me crazy.
It's scary. I was just saying to someone the other day, like every day I send my son to school, and he's 4, he goes to preschool and he's only there a couple hours a day. But every day that you have that, you know, you watch him walk in the building and you're like, your heart stops for a second because of just, you know, everything that's going on, and anything could happen. And there's just so many thoughts that run through your brain about the horrific things that are happening now. So it takes a lot of strength, I know, for me every day to let go of him. To it's only going to get harder as he grows up.
It's only going to get harder, right? But you know
that, you know, a lot of other moms go through the same thing. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you have to let them go. And your son, I'm sure, with you as a mom, probably is a lot more already at 4, open-minded and creative than other kids, because I'm sure you've exposed him to more than a lot of other kids have been exposed to. My daughter, by the time she was 7, knew more drag queens than anybody. And her first Pride March was in New York City, and the group that led the Pride March that year, everyone knows them, Dykes on Bikes. Mm-hmm. She never forgot that. She would talk like, even with her friends, these women in their motorcycles, and she remembered them like revving them up and kicking off this whole parade. And I remember she was a small kid and she had never seen anything like that. And I'd like to believe, right, that I enriched her by doing that her points of view and who she's going to be in society and how she'll make a difference in society was influenced by that. You know, it's up to us as moms to give that to our kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, I take my son with me every chance I get. Anything that's, you know, appropriate for him to be at, I make sure that he experiences that, you know, whatever's appropriate for his age. But we recently went to see one of my friends perform. She's in both of my shows, the Velvet Stardust Rock Show and the Starlight Jazz Show, Lisa Bouchel. So check her out, look her up. She's really fantastic. And my son's favorite, he always says he loves Elton John, Missy Elliott, and Lisa Bouchel. Those are his 3 favorites.
I love it. So he's just elevated her.
Yeah, that's it. Those are his 3. But we went to see her, and he was sitting with me in the booth where she was playing, and he saw she had a guest come up and sing. And he looks at me and he goes, "My turn?" And I was like, "Oh, here we go." So I said, "Well, buddy," I was like, "you should probably wait until it's a song that you know." Because he was just ready to run up there and grab the mic. I don't know what his plan was, but he was going to go.
No, I love his spontaneity. This is really great. His plan was to get up there and grab them. I mean, Jamie, you realize how great that is to not worry who's going to judge you.
So I said, you know what? I said, wait till it's a song you know. So instead he got up, he walked over to her. He requested one of her original songs that he knows, and he got up there and sang. So I said to her, now you created a monster, because he thinks that this is what he's going to do every time. So.
And this kid is 4 years old, right?
Yeah. Yep. And she was trying to help him out. I was laughing. She was trying to help him out. She kept singing the chorus because she figured, well, you know, that's the easiest thing to do. And you see him look at her. And when he sat down, he goes, "Mommy, that's not how it goes." I said, "I know, buddy. She was trying to help you out by singing that part." And he goes, "Okay, next time." Like, he was just like,
oh my God,
she'll do it right next time.
How that is really, really So funny. It's great. What do they say? Out of the mouths of babes, right?
Yep.
So what do you have coming up? You've got a lot of things coming up.
I do. So next week, actually, we have a photo shoot for the Velvet Stardust Rock Show. So we're doing some new promo shots. We'll be back at the Mock Chunk Opera House on September 9th, and we actually just booked the Whiskey A Go Go in California.
You're kidding. Oh, that's cool.
At the end of November. So we're like, it's time for a new promo shoot. So we're going to do that. That's next week. And then next weekend, I'm actually flying to Georgia with the Motor City Review Band, which is one of the bands that I perform with. They're fantastic. They do Motown songs. So we're going to Georgia to perform next, it's the 10th. Is that next weekend already? I think it is.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
So that's happening. And then when I get back, we go straight into rehearsals for the Starlight Jazz Show, and we are performing at McClune's in Asbury Park on June 25th. So.
I love Asbury Park. That's
absolutely
amazing. Do you think you'll be in New York for Pride at all?
I'm going to try to make it. We have so much. I think this is the first time in a bazillion years that I don't have like a Pride focused show going on. I know we were at Stonewall last year in June and did a Pride show, and it was super fun. But I'm just rolling with the punches and in rehearsals for a ton of things. So I will absolutely make it to some Pride events this month for sure.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, while we're talking, how cool, this is me. I always have these dreams that you could do a float one year and do any of your reviews and go down Fifth Avenue in the float with your dancers. You know, there's a number of shows that have done it. It's not cheap to do. However, it's really amazing promo.
Yeah, we did. We were actually in the Asbury Pride parade.
Oh, you did? Yay.
And on the Asbury Pride stage when we do the Rocky Horror Show a lot, and we did that at Asbury Pride a number of years ago, and we did the New York Halloween parade on a float a couple times.
Oh, you're kidding. That's one of my favorite. First of all, I go to that parade every year. That's one of my favorite.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I love the Halloween parade in New York. It's really, really cool. So you have a lot on your plate, girl. I got to tell you. So
I'm spinning them all like the hoop.
You are right. Forget about the hula hoop, girl. Jamie is spinning all those plates. How do you, what keeps you going? Because you are a powerhouse. You're a powerful performer.
Thank you.
Then you create all of this art. What keeps you going?
Creating all of that art keeps me going, and my friends. I mean, I have a core group of a couple of people that we check in with each other every day, and we're all doing things. I was talking to my friend today. She was in a studio session earlier. She's like, "Oh, you have your interview, right? Well, I'll be in this, so you do that, but like, good luck." And there's just a lot of that going on, and that's really special, and it absolutely keeps me going to be able to check in with my friends who are doing the same things as me. We cross paths in the same shows sometimes we're doing different things, but we are always there to check in on each other, and that definitely helps.
I mean, you definitely what you're saying is something that I have found that is intrinsic to the performance community. The people that stick with me and that I'm surrounded with they're all performers, and it doesn't matter where they go or what they do, right? Because people go on the road, but we check in, we always check back, and we do everything that we can to support each other. It's definitely different in the performance world than it is often in the real world. I don't know,
it's true. And you can't really explain it.
You can't explain it, right?
The friendship and the family that's created to someone who hasn't experienced it. And I wish everybody could experience that somehow, some way, in whatever they do. But it is really special and hard to explain to someone who hasn't kind of been in it.
I guess people have come up with the term, I hear it a lot the last couple of years, chosen family.
Yeah.
And in our communities, that's what ends up happening. You have your chosen family, and it's not that your regular family is a bad thing to have, but I've found like sometimes regular family, they're not always there when you need them to be, maybe because it's something we take for granted, right? We're connected by blood, but chosen family has got a different criteria to it. And usually there's something that has brought you together, a passion or a love that connects all of you to each other.
And look at what you go through together too. I mean,
Right.
like, especially when it's like something that starts out as a passion project like this, like one of the lead singers in my show, the lead singer in the Velvet Stardust Rock Show, Rosie, is one of my best friends. And we kind of created Velvet Stardust together. Really, it's our thing together. And, you know, we check in with each other every day on it. And you kind of just feel like all these people that have been in it with me since the beginning, you've experienced the highs and the lows together. You know, you show up for a show and something breaks or something falls apart or somebody doesn't show up, or, you know, there's always, and the positive things too, obviously, but those experiences that cause you to band together to fix it somehow, really give you that family like bond.
Yeah, you're right, because you're right, because you hit rock bottom together, you know, where sometimes it seems like everything goes amok, but if you've got each other's back, okay, you can fix things, and it becomes part of your experience, you know, that you went through that with each other.
Or you know, people walk in from Anna, like she'll do like 3 other shows in the same day before she gets there for ours, and same with Deborah or Lisa or whoever. And it's just like, you know, if somebody's not having a great day and, you know, they just walk in and you can see it, or you are emotionally and spiritually connected to these individuals too, and you can really just kind of lift each other up without words just by getting on stage together.
I love that. Jamie, we have 1 minute left. I don't know where the time
goes so fast.
I know it really does go so fast. What would you like to tell everybody?
Just keep doing it. Whatever you love, get out there, do it, and use it for something positive, please, because the world needs more of that.
The world absolutely needs more of that, and the world needs more of you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And the best way for people to find you?
They can do Instagram. Check out the Stage Stars page. It's at StageStars_NJ. There it is. Thank you. And there's links in the bio to all of the shows that I'm producing. The link tree's up there. You can get tickets. You can see where we're at next. You can find out my personal pages on there too. So
everything you've always wanted to know about Jamie. Thank you so much for being here. And
thank you for having me.
Best and happy Pride.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.